Side project update. This is the end of the firebox tank that we didn't use. Got it in the ground for a fire pit. Used it a couple times. It rained last night. We just drilled those 3 holes in the bottom. So we had some sitting water about outside of that orange or inside of that orange ring. We're all in sand, so I wanted to see how well it works.
Yeah, it should go.
It should go right down there. See how it works. All right, round 2. The other one didn't work out too well. We dug a little hole, put some crushed up concrete in there, so hopefully it's dropping over the rocks. We'll see. Not as much water this time. Oh yeah. Look at that.
And a couple of those holes are...
Yeah, those holes are pretty clogged. Well, maybe once in a while we'll have to come in here and empty it out, but does the job. Alright, so what we are working on today for the smoker, 2 things. Alex is going to be working on the plate cutting. Are you doing still 5x5?
I think so.
Yeah, so 5x5. There'll be 8 of them on this 3/16 sheet metal. What we're using that for is to go on the legs, which you're going to have 4 on each side. And basically we will have them attached here, so, and the leg will be right up against that at the 45. I'm going to be cutting said legs on the chop saw that we got back here. We bought way more than we're going to end up using as far as the tubing goes for it, because we didn't use quite what we thought. But I'll be cutting them at 45-degree angles, so hopefully they match up. And then I wasn't sure how to measure it. What I ended up doing was measuring from the side here down to the ground, and then measuring in. So what we're going to do is there's going to be 32 inches from each side of the leg, which basically lines up pretty well with where these blocks are. That's how I got the idea for it, even though it's not centered. So we'll get those cut up, and then we'll probably end up welding those to the plates, and then weld the whole deal onto the trailer. So then once they're ready, it'll just pick up and plop down. Am I missing anything?
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do for this too.
Yeah, so that'll just be for the big tank, and then the little one, I call it little, we'll have to see. So a lot of cutting. So here's the 5x5 sheets that he made, just cut. Now he's gonna grind down the edges that he did with the torch, not the grinder torch.
Torch is much faster.
Torch is faster. My next job is I'm gonna grind down all these so we can weld the legs on. Over here's the legs. Those 45-degree angles were tough. They're all about 26 inches long, give or take. But I got 8 of those too, with one underneath as a practice. All right, here's a little sneak preview of what it's gonna look like. They're just setting on there. I didn't weld them in or anything, but so it's a little tall, but not terrible. Looks pretty solid.
This angle back here looks real nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it over there. Man, the background of that garage isn't the greatest.
Right here.
Right there?
Yeah.
Let's see. Bit dark. Yep. But that's it. Probably gonna go in and eat in a little bit. Today's plans are to weld the plates that are going on the tank. Weld these plates to the end of the legs. How do those even fit? This does not fit great. This needs to be ground down, but we're going to clean out the legs on the bottom and the top. Top size is perfect. Yeah. But fit it up, tack it, weld it, and then we'll set it up on the tank here because it doesn't fit quite flat, so we might have to. It's not bad. Yeah. Might have to heat it up, bend it a little bit, and then we'll fit them on here, tack them, make sure they're all straight, square, level, and then weld them up. And then after we get all that done, we'll start putting in the gussets on the side and then the cross supports in the middle. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do for the firebox in the back. But until then, I think that's going to be the end for the trailer once we get the frame built. And then we'll start on firebox. Put the doors in there and such. Yeah, there really isn't that much more. We have the cross beams, the gussets. And then we have to figure out the firebox. The firebox could end up sticking out probably a foot. Yeah. The original plan was to have something like that, just a little bit shorter, or a lot of it shorter. It's supposed to be butting up right against this, maybe up a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch or whatever. And maybe we'll take the trailer down to. Oh yeah, for the wheels. Yeah. That. So the trailer is. Do it again. Let me see. Yeah. Steve replaced the wheel bearings. Everybody say, "Oh, you need new wheel bearings." No, replace the wheel bearings, outer and inner, in the seals, and grease it up real good. But we think it might have something to do with the trailer brakes. It has drum brakes in there, and that's a little bit out of our depth because we're not mechanics. So I might bring it down to someone, or just go with it and see if the wheels fall off. Alright, so we have 3 of the legs tacked up right there. That's what it looked like standing up. Let's see how that will look. Yeah. So then that's roughly how it's going to be going on there. Give or take. There's a little bit of a gap, but that's where we're going to hit the hammer, and hopefully it'll level out. Yeah. But
enough to weld it.
Enough to weld it.
It's 1/4 inch, so it could take some.
Yeah. Alex finished tacking these all up. I'm going to go in and clean up the welds a bit so he can weld the entire thing. And those are the legs. Cruising. So after lunch, a couple things. We have all of the legs done except for that side weld and that front weld. The rest of it is there, and can't see that, but there. So that's what Alex will be working on, and then I will be cutting the cross supports for the legs, so the ones that go at an angle, like from here to here, if that makes sense. So there's going to be another 8 of those, all at 45-degree angles. So I get to work with my nemesis again, right there, and see if I can get these out fairly consistent. Here we go. Steve's over here slicing the supports. Right on. Right on. That's 4 of them. We need 4 more. I just got done welding the legs up. I got all 8 of them. It's going on here all the way around. Backside. So next up, I'm gonna wait for Steve to finish cutting those. I might start grinding the supports, cleaning those up, cleaning up the ends. We're gonna figure out how to get these fitted up and tacked on the trailer. All right, good morning. Saturday, I'm out here with Alex. A little different start, trying to deal with the shaky tires that we have on all 4 of them. They just kind of move. So what I did, I took the tire off, and then it has an old drum brake, trailer brake hub thing that goes over, and that's how the tires bolt in. So I already changed the wheel bearings on this, but this is still, I don't know how it shows, but this thing is moving front to back. So anyway, so I'm going to try to pop that cap off, tighten that crown axle nut down a little bit, see if that does anything. If not, I'll end up taking out the what they call them, the races, where the bearings slide on or roll on. Replace those, see if that does it. Otherwise, I don't know. Has to be one of those 2. Forgot to tell you what Alex will be working on today.
Well,
or right now at least.
the supports, the 45s are not quite 45 degrees, so I need to get the cutting wheel out and the grinder and just cut them the rest of the way, I guess.
It's possible user error when cutting. But yeah, they're just not quite lining up. Put it in the corner there. This isn't where they're going, but you'll get the idea.
Yeah, so trying to get 45 in here.
So we have that side flat, and that side like that, something like that. So it's not quite what we want, but it's hopefully closer than not 45.
I'd be mad if this wrecks the wheel, because we only have 1 left. Is that all you need?
Update on our wheel bearing situation. This is what it looks like once the hub is off. I tried just tightening the outer axle bolt, and it worked when it was tight. Wheel didn't shake, but then when you loosen it back up like it's supposed to be, it loosened the whole tire. So I ended up taking out the whole ordeal. So right here, that is where the inner bearing goes, and outer bearing right there. I did take out the races, which are the 2 that have the dash in them. Up top, those are the wheel bearings and other things. And on the bottom, those are the 2 that I'll be replacing them with. I'm going to try to use the old ones to put the new ones back in. That's how I saw it done on YouTube, at least. I've never done it before, but we will see how it goes. All right, I just got the tire back on, and seems to have done the trick. Get that out of there. So this is the good one I just did. And it's got a bit, tiny little bit, but if you compare it to this one, decent amount more. So hopefully that is all that it is. I don't know what else it would be, but we only have one more set that'll go on that tire there, the left one. We'll have to order the others for the front too, because the store that we went to originally didn't have them. So he might have them now. I guess we'd go there, but I paid like 50 bucks for them. So I want to make sure that not overpaying. While I was doing that, Alex got these all grinded down. So now we're gonna try to get the arm or the legs there tacked up with the cross beams, and then that'll be a lot of welding for him while I take a break from the tire, hopefully before we get any rain. All right, we are just about to start tacking up the leg supports, so we'll get those there first, and then we'll put in the cross beams. After I get the first one done and figure out how we're going to do it, we'll throw a time lapse on. It should look pretty cool, I'm hoping. We just finished tacking up the legs. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. It was kind of annoying to do. I measured about 25 times for each one, but it looks good. Kind of raining outside right now. Will Eli line up?
A little bit off, not terrible.
But
the poles look straight.
yeah,
More the plates than anything.
now it's looking more like a actual smoker trailer. Yep, I'll take it. Check this out. We kind of skipped through that middle steps there, but we got the angle bars, whatever you want to call them, in there. Supports, they're all tacked in right there, and we weren't the most precise putting them in, so they may not exactly line up, but it's pretty darn close. But I'm pretty happy with it. It is, that's not exactly lined up how it's going to be holding it, but if I get to the right angle, it'll be something like, I don't know, something like that. Well, that's where we're at. Then we still got the firebox spot pretty open, and then we're going to be doing something up front because there's a decent amount of space there. We'll probably just end up adding some sort of, maybe an angled support up under the smokestack end. And it's almost time to start cutting doors into that thing and getting it actually looking like a smoker, not just a propane tank. Happy Sunday. It's about noon or so right now. A little later start. We had a big breakfast. What I'll be doing today is start by grinding those down so they can be welded up there and there, all the way down. And then what Alex will be working on is the gussets to go from the other side out of the sheet metal right there. We're gonna go with what, 6x6 inch about to go into over here, so left about right there to there or so. I tried to convince him to do the full bars, but he didn't want to. So once we get those all in there, he'll do some welding. I'll be grinding, preparing everything. I'm hoping to get started on this tank here fairly quick. So hopefully we can finish this up today, because that needs to get cut into. Alex is going to fill up the welder with some diesel before the gas station closes. He has cut all the gousses, which are right there, a couple there, and then I've been grinding. There's one of my, make sure it's not going to burn me, one of my ground ones. So what they will be going down like is something kind of sort of like that. So in the middle there, on the inside it'll be open, if you can see that, and then so one in front, one in back. A little more support. And he's gonna still has to weld the diagonal supports there too. But so I got about 10 more of those things to grind. Hopefully we'll get them all done today. We may run out of welding rod, but we're gonna run up to the store tomorrow to get some of that, and probably get some more material for the door hinges and things to go into that big guy. lunchtime. This is what I've been working on. The doors. So I've been drawing those white lines. Kind of hard to see, but so we decided, or at least for right now, is we're gonna go 1.5 inches off of the seam right here over, and then there's the top line a little bit farther down than I had originally thought. The bottom line, you can see there's a couple of them there. I went with the top one. And then we said 4 inches in between, so there's that 4-inch gap, middle door, second 4-inch gap, and then the end. So they're about just under 46 inches long. The only other thing I kind of forgot about was we were planning on having about 1 inch overlap over the doors, so we won't be cutting here necessarily. We'll be cutting in about 1 inch. So this is what it'll look like from the outside, but the doors will be a bit smaller side to side. Top to bottom should be about the same, because I gave a couple inches to the grate level. I wanted to draw it in marker so it shows up a little bit better, but I want to have Alex double check things before we go too far. Over here I tried using that the ink that you can slap on the ground with the little string thing. It kind of worked, but then there's a couple different lines and it just kind of looks messy. But so that's that part. And then this morning Alex finished up everything, all the welds on these crossbars. So there's a couple there, and then the underneath ones gave me a bit of trouble. I don't know how this one looks under there. Well, it's hard to see. But these are fully welded up now. The other thing we have to weld in today are the gussets that I was working on yesterday. Sitting right down there. But for now, I'm going to go eat some lunch. Well, it's starting to look like a smoker more and more, even though this is strictly just for looks. I was using that soapstone and it just did not show up at all. So I wanted to see how the measurements looked. They look even and level and all that stuff. So I used some 2-inch tape that my mom had. So what'll happen is these are going to be the 2-inch strips that'll go around the doors. So that's basically what it'll look like once it's done, hopefully. But now I just have to figure out how to mark up the middle, because it's going to cut like right there through the entire thing. So that'll be fun. But I had to see what it looked like. The 3 doors. You see a lot of 4 doors, but not too many 3 doors. So I can fit my whole hogs in there. But it looks good to me. And Alex is tacking up the gussets, so we got a few of them in here already. Looking solid. Don't break my camera. Oh boy. Alright, I have the first door cut line marked with a Sharpie. As you can see, I was kind of dreading it, but it wasn't terrible, it just takes some time. So that line is smack dab in the middle of the blue tape. So, 1 down, 2 to go. And on the trailer side, all gussets are tacked in. Not quite welded. It's 4 o'clock now. We may be able to get these done. And it also depends on how much of that stuff we have left. Not a ton there. We'll have to make a run tomorrow up to get some more material and welding grinders, whatever else we need from the store. But coming together, looks pretty sturdy. Just finished up for the night. You got a rod?
Just about this. Not much.
Couple 2-tree. Welding up these gussets. So what do you have left on them?
So I have the vertical on the right or left side, whatever way, and then I have the flat on the other side.
Okay. So about half.
Yeah, halfway.
That's where we're at on the trailer. And I got done with all these, which I'm very happy about. The cut lines in Sharpie, so it can rain all it wants to, and it's not going anywhere.
You got these guys going on.
Yeah, and the top is a little bit smoother, not perfect, but I took off a couple spots there, right there, and let's not forget about the firebox. Couple guys there. Yeah, I mean the lines they're not perfect, but I mean a little bit. But I don't know. For how I did it, it's pretty good.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's for a smoker.
Yeah. But yeah, there's 6 inches in the middle now. That thing, it looks a little big, but it'll be okay. Yeah, it's getting there. It is getting there.